If this found you today, it's not random. It's confirmation. You've been wondering if there's a missing piece, because deep down, you know you were meant for more than just surviving, more than chasing bills, more than watching others thrive while you stay stuck in a cycle of almosts. Chosen one, this is your message. Comment to claim your alignment. I reclaim my time and energy and space. Now listen closely, because nobody tells you this. Wealth doesn't come to the smartest, or the fastest, or even the most talented. It comes to the most aligned. The energy you carry, the space you hold, the way you show up for what you say you want. That is what decides whether doors stay closed or swing wide open. So let's get into it. Because today we're going to expose the one energetic block that's keeping you locked out of your next level, and more importantly, how to remove it. Welcome. This is The Alchemist, and today we're going to reveal the wealth principle that no one's talking about. Wealth responds to inner authority. Let me ask you something. Do you trust yourself with wealth? Not just desire it, not just visualize it. Do you trust yourself to hold it, grow it, protect it, expand it, and move with it in a way that aligns with your soul? Because if there's a hidden part of you that fears it, even just a little, it will never come. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're unavailable. This is what most people miss. They think the issue is outside, the economy, their boss, the market, the algorithm. But in spiritual truth, wealth is first a frequency. You don't chase wealth, you align with it, and then it recognizes you. Now listen, you've done affirmations. You've said, "I am abundant," 100 times in the mirror, but let's be honest, have you truly made the internal shift from scarcity to sovereignty? Because this is where most chosen ones stay stuck. You were raised to survive, not thrive. You were taught that money is hard, that it's unspiritual, that it's dangerous, that it'll change you, that it'll attract the wrong people. And even if consciously you reject those ideas, your nervous system still believes them. So when wealth starts getting closer, you sabotage it, you downplay it, you delay it. You find a way to almost win, but not fully receive. Sound familiar? Then this message is for you, because there is one energetic law that governs abundance. You will never consistently hold what your subconscious believes is unsafe. And this is why things feel stuck. Not because you're lazy, not because you're doing it wrong, but because there's still a part of you trying to protect yourself from the very life you've been praying for. Let that sink in. So what do? You heal the belief that wealth is dangerous. You rewrite the contract you didn't know you signed when you were young. The one that said, it's safer to be small, it's holier to be broke, it's easier to not be seen. And here's the truth, chosen one, that belief isn't yours. It was programmed, it was inherited, it was given to you. But now it's your job to break it. Because until you do this, until you reclaim your authority to receive, the doors of wealth won't open. Not because you're cursed, but because you're still carrying a key that doesn't fit. And this is the missing piece that shifts everything. You don't just need more money, you need a new identity. One that is no longer bonded to struggle. One that is no longer loyal to lack. One that is no longer addicted to earning love through sacrifice. You see, wealth flows to those who feel safe with being powerful, who feel safe being visible, who feel safe saying, yes, I want more. Not from ego, but from purpose. Because here's what no one tells you, wealth is not about greed, it's about capacity. It's about being trusted by the universe to carry more light, more impact, more provision, without losing yourself. But how can you be trusted if you're still afraid of what having more will reveal? If you're still unsure whether being wealthy means being bad? If you're still playing small to make others feel comfortable? You can't be both chosen and silent. You can't be both called and caged. You can't be both powerful and pretending not to be. And this is the crossroads you're at. Right now, the universe is asking you, are you ready to become the version of yourself that can handle the magnitude of the blessing? Because when you do this, when you release the fear, reject the false beliefs, and reclaim your divine authority to receive, the doors of wealth will not just open, They'll swing wide and you'll walk through without apology. And that's where we're going next. Now listen, if you're still here, it's because your spirit knows you're on the verge of something real. You've been unlocking pieces in the dark. You've felt it, the shift, the unraveling, the tug of something greater whispering, there's more. And you're right, there is more. But to walk through the next door, you must stop entertaining the energies that keep you broke. Now that might sound harsh, but it's the kind of truth that saves you time. Nobody tells you this, but staying loyal to fear-based habits is spiritual self-sabotage. And if you're honest with yourself, you've already outgrown those versions of you that normalize lack. So let me ask you, who do you become around money? Do you tighten up, get anxious, overgive just to prove you're worthy? Dim your light because you're afraid wealth will make you different? It was never your fault. You weren't taught to feel empowered around receiving. You were taught to feel guilty, nervous, out of place, to be quiet when blessings came, to act like you didn't want it, to shrink instead of shine. But that version of you, the one that's surviving on crumbs and calling it humble, that's not your higher self. That's your programming. And the longer you entertain that old identity, the longer you delay the breakthrough that's already yours. Because hear this clearly, you are not being tested. You're being initiated and chosen ones. We don't chase the bag. We attract it by becoming the version of ourselves who knows how to steward overflow with integrity, confidence, and peace. So what keeps most people locked out? Here it is, the second block. You haven't decided yet. You're still hoping, still waiting for a sign, still wondering if it's meant for you. But listen closely now. Wealth doesn't respond to begging. It responds to embodiment. It responds to you walking into the room like you already belong there. It responds to you no longer asking, "Am I ready?" and instead declaring, "I was born for this." Identity comes first. The shift follows. This is the spiritual technology no one teaches. You don't receive the life you desire. You receive the life you've declared as normal. So what are you still normalizing? Are you still tolerating environments that drain you? Still entertaining conversations that shrink your vision? Still holding back because you're afraid your light will upset the room? Chosen one, they tried to silence you, didn't they? Told you to calm down, to not dream too big. But the truth is, you were never crazy, you were just early. And now the world is catching up. Your frequency is rising, and everything that once matched your fear is starting to fall away. Don't panic, that's alignment. Because wealth has standards. It doesn't come where there's confusion, clutter, or codependency. It comes where there's clarity, conviction, boundaries. It comes where it's welcomed, not just wanted. So if you want the doors to open, there's something you have to do. You have to decide that you're no longer available for the version of life that insults your purpose. You have to decide that peace is the new baseline, that overflow is your spiritual birthright, that you're not here to survive another year, you're here to shift realities. This is not about being flashy, it's about finally allowing yourself to be fully resourced so your vision can breathe. You can't heal the world if you're constantly worried about bills. You can't rise into your calling while staying addicted to struggle. Let this be the day you return your loyalty to your higher self. Let this be the moment you stop praying for crumbs and start preparing for rooms. The wealth you're calling in is already in motion, but it's looking for a new version of you to meet it. One who trusts, one who knows, one who no longer negotiates her destiny. And that version, she's already awakening inside you. Now breathe for a second. Because everything in you that's trying to resist this message, that tension, that mental pushback, it's not your soul rejecting this, it's your conditioning fighting for survival. And that's how you know this message is real. Because truth doesn't always soothe you at first. Sometimes truth shakes you, so it can free you. Now listen closely. The third thing that blocks chosen ones from entering the flow of divine wealth, it's emotional hoarding. Nobody tells you this, but if you're still holding on to people, stories, guilt, grief, shame, or unforgiveness, you're carrying weight that money cannot meet. Money is light. Money is flow. Money is a sacred frequency that thrives in clarity, not chaos. You cannot receive like a queen while grieving like a ghost. And this isn't to shame you, it's to free you. You've spent so long being the strong one, the one who carries everyone's pain, who holds the entire emotional world together while quietly crumbling inside. And I want to ask you something. When is it finally your turn? When do you get to feel safe? When do you get to be poured into instead of just pouring? You cannot attract overflow while emotionally identifying with lack. And some of you are still energetically tied to people who are no longer in your life. But their wounds are. You still over-apologize. You still fear abandonment. You still prove your worth by over-delivering and under-receiving. And this is why things haven't moved. It's not that you're cursed. It's not that the universe is ignoring you. It's that your field is full. Your hands are already holding something. And it's not what you asked for. Chosen one, this world trained you to confuse struggle with character, to think suffering meant strength, to wear your trauma like armor instead of releasing it like a ceremony. But hear me clearly now, your next level requires emotional evacuation. You have to make room. Room for peace, room for worthiness, room for the version of you who knows that ease isn't laziness, it's alignment. The doors are trying to open, but you're still parked at the house of your old identity. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to leave. You prayed for next level, you begged for clarity, you asked for signs, and now the sign is saying this: release the grief or repeat the cycle, because wealth will not meet you in the waiting room of unprocessed pain. Now ask yourself this: what am I still carrying that doesn't belong in my future? Is it a belief that it has to be hard? A story that I'm not good enough? A subconscious fear that if I rise too high, I'll lose the people I love? Chosen one, your new life costs your old emotional attachments. The version of you who thrives in wealth. She is light, she is grounded, she is open, and she is free. And here's what most won't tell you. When you finally release the heaviness you've been taught to normalize, you won't just attract money, you'll attract meaning. You'll meet people who don't require you to shrink. You'll enter rooms that honor your essence. You'll experience blessings that feel like home, not performance. You'll stop chasing and start choosing. This is the unspoken bridge. This is the inner work that unlocks the outer reward. And if you're feeling the tug right now, it's because your breakthrough is breathing down your neck. The doors are not locked. They're just looking for the version of you who has the key. And the key, it's buried beneath all the feelings you've been taught to avoid. So cry it out, feel it all, and then walk away lighter. Because your next level doesn't require a perfect you. It requires a present you, a ready you, a real you. And that's who's rising now. Now take a breath. Because we're not done yet. There are still two final things standing between you and the divine wealth you were always meant to experience. And if you've made it this far, it means you're ready to hear this. Let's begin with the fourth key. You're still trying to manifest from scarcity. You visualize, you affirm, you speak it into existence, but deep down, you're still afraid it won't happen. You're still calculating how, when, who, what if. And here's the truth nobody's told you. Manifestation is not about control, it's about coherence. Your outer world reflects not what you wish for, but what your nervous system believes is safe. So if you say, I want more money, but your body is still bracing for abandonment, betrayal, disappointment, the frequency isn't matched, you see? The subconscious mind isn't loyal to your goals, it's loyal to your familiar. And some of you were raised in homes where joy was followed by pain, where celebration always ended in punishment, where wealth was seen as dangerous or sinful. So now, as adults, you unintentionally sabotage what you say you want. Not because you're broken, but because your body thinks it's protecting you. Now listen closely. Wealth won't meet a version of you that's still at war with receiving. This is why the money shows up and disappears. This is why the right opportunity gets delayed. This is why you almost rise and then retreat, because part of you doesn't believe it's safe to have more. And that is the part that needs healing. So what do? You teach your nervous system a new story. You practice sitting in ease. You breathe through the discomfort of joy. You learn to receive without guilt. You remind yourself that you're not in that old house anymore. You're not a child in chaos. You are the architect now, and you don't have to earn your safety. You are safe. Let that land. Now, the final piece, the fifth key, and I need you to feel this one in your soul. You haven't said yes yet, not fully. You keep asking for confirmation, but you've already felt it. You keep waiting for the perfect time, but you know it's now. You keep praying for signs, but the signs keep pointing back to you. This is what the universe is waiting on. Not a better plan, not a clearer path, but a louder yes. The kind of yes that moves mountains. The kind of yes that walks by faith and not by sight. The kind of yes that doesn't wait for comfort to feel called. Chosen one, your life changes the moment your yes gets louder than your fear, because that's when the real alignment begins. That's when the doors swing open, not because you pushed them, but because they were waiting for you. They were waiting for the version of you who believes again, who trusts again, who says, even if I don't know how, I know who. The you who finally realizes, it was never about deserving, it was about remembering. Remembering that you were chosen not to suffer, but to shift. Not to beg, but to build. Not to prove, but to position. And right now, you're being positioned. You're standing on sacred ground. The invisible is organizing itself around your decision. Not your doubt, not your delay, but your decision to become the one who receives without apology. So let me ask you this. Can you handle the version of life where you are fully supported? Where you are no longer in survival mode? Where you don't chase, you attract? If the answer is yes, then hear me clearly. The doors of wealth aren't closed. They've been watching you this whole time. And now they're responding, not to who you were, but to who you're finally ready to become. Let them open and walk through without shrinking. Because it's your time, because it's your turn, because this message didn't find you by accident.